For years, football fans believed the same thing. The perfect striker in modern football had to do everything. Drop deep, create chances, understand the entire structure of the game. That's how football evolution shaped our expectations of what an elite-level forward should be. And then, Erling Haaland showed up and completely broke that idea. Because in a sport that celebrates tactical intelligence and game awareness, Haaland dominates by doing something incredibly simple: scoring goals, relentlessly, almost stubbornly. While the game keeps getting more complex, he reminds everyone that sometimes the most dangerous player is the one who focuses on a single mission. But here's where the debate becomes fascinating. On the other side, there's Harry Kane, a striker who seems to represent the opposite universe. A player who reads the bigger picture of the game, drops between lines, creates chances, and controls the rhythm of the attack. So now the real question appears. If you were building a team today, would you choose the unstoppable goal machine or the striker who understands the entire game? Because Haaland versus Kane isn't just a comparison between two players. It's a clash between two completely different ideas of what a striker should be in modern football. In modern football, people love the idea of the complete player, the kind of striker who drops deep, links play, builds attacks, almost like a midfielder wearing a number 9 shirt. For years, that felt like the natural direction of football evolution. Fans started valuing tactical intelligence, game awareness, and versatility above everything else. The culture of the game slowly shaped this belief that the best forwards must understand the bigger picture of the attack. And honestly, it made perfect sense, until someone showed up and reminded everyone that sometimes football is simpler than that. Then suddenly, there's Erling Haaland. And he doesn't try to do everything. He doesn't wander around the pitch searching for touches just to prove his football IQ. Instead, he almost looks stubborn about one thing: scoring goals. And in modern football culture, that almost feels rebellious. It's like everyone was building complex strategies and systems, while Haaland quietly walked in and said, "What if the striker's job is still the same? Not glamorous, not complicated, just brutally efficient at the elite level." Think of it like characters in a video game. Some characters are balanced. They shoot, defend, run, support the team. They're useful in every situation. But then there's that one character with a completely overpowered ability. Maybe he's not flexible, maybe he doesn't do everything. But when that one skill activates, the entire match changes. Haaland feels like that kind of player, a generational talent who reminds us that sometimes the simplest role in football can still shape a football legacy. And once you start looking at it that way, the comparison with someone like Harry Kane becomes a lot more interesting. Watching Erling Haaland for the first time can feel a little strange, almost like seeing something that doesn't quite follow the rules of modern football. The game today celebrates tactical intelligence, positional rotations, and attackers who participate in every phase of play. Yet Haaland seems to live in a different rhythm. He studies the spaces, waits patiently, and then boom, he explodes into them with frightening precision. It's not just speed or strength. It's a rare mix of game awareness and instinct that turns half chances into goals at an elite level. In many ways, he represents a fascinating twist in football evolution. Analysts often describe him as the perfect example of the modern penalty box striker. But that phrase doesn't quite capture the bigger picture. What makes Haaland terrifying isn't just where he plays, it's how decisive he is when the moment arrives. You can watch a match where he barely touches the ball for long stretches, and suddenly he appears exactly where the defense didn't expect him. That's where big game mentality starts to reveal itself. The ability to stay mentally present even when the game seems to be flowing somewhere else. A good analogy is the classic final boss in a video game. You might spend most of the level feeling comfortable, controlling the pace, making smart decisions, and then suddenly you face that one opponent who can end everything with a single move. Haaland brings that energy into football culture. Defenders can do everything right for 80 minutes, but if their concentration drops for 1 second, the game changes. And that's the strange beauty of players like him. They don't just participate in the match, they alter the football legacy of it. Which makes the next comparison even more fascinating, because Harry Kane represents almost the opposite philosophy of attacking football. If Haaland feels like a striker built for explosive moments, Harry Kane often feels like a player built for understanding the entire game. In modern football, where tactical intelligence and game awareness are becoming more valuable every season, Kane represents a different kind of elite-level forward. He doesn't just wait for the ball inside the box. Instead, he reads the rhythm of the match, drops into deeper spaces, connects midfield to attack, and quietly shapes the flow of the game. It's the kind of influence that doesn't always scream for attention, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Think about the type of player everyone remembers from a casual game with friends. There's always that striker who refuses to stay still. One moment he's helping in midfield, the next he's opening space for a teammate, and somehow he still arrives in the box at the perfect time. That's the essence of Kane. His tactical intelligence allows him to see the bigger picture of the attack, something that reflects the deeper layers of football evolution. In many ways, he embodies a striker who understands football culture not just as a scorer, but as an architect of the team's offensive structure. A simple analogy helps here. If Haaland is like a powerful hammer, direct, devastating, and designed for impact, then Kane feels more like a Swiss Army knife. He can finish chances, create opportunities, dictate tempo, and even organize attacks when the team needs clarity. That versatility builds a different kind of football legacy, one that relies less on physical dominance and more on decision-making under pressure. And when you place these two profiles side by side, something fascinating begins to emerge. Because the real debate isn't just about who is better, it's about two completely different ideas of what a striker should be in modern football. When you place Haaland and Kane side by side, the conversation suddenly becomes bigger than just two players. It starts to reflect something deeper about modern football itself. On one side, you have specialization, pure, ruthless efficiency inside the box. On the other, you have a striker shaped by football evolution, someone whose tactical intelligence allows him to influence multiple phases of the game. Neither approach is wrong, and that's what makes the debate fascinating. In fact, this contrast reveals a lot about how football culture has changed over the years. Haaland represents vertical football at its most brutal form. His movements are direct, explosive, almost mechanical in their precision. Defenders don't fear complexity when they face him, they fear timing. One wrong step, one lost second of concentration, and the game changes instantly. That's where his big game mentality becomes obvious. Even in high-pressure moments, he behaves like someone who knows exactly what his mission is: finish the move, write his mark on the match, and quietly build a football legacy through goals. Kane, on the other hand, reflects a striker who sees the bigger picture of the game. His decisions often come one step ahead of everyone else on the pitch. Instead of attacking space immediately, he sometimes creates it first. Instead of waiting for the final pass, he might deliver it himself. Choosing between them almost feels like choosing between a Ferrari and a luxury SUV. One was built for raw speed and adrenaline, the other for control and intelligence throughout the journey. And once you start seeing that contrast clearly, the next question naturally appears. What kind of striker do coaches actually value the most? There's an old idea that experienced coaches repeat all the time, and it sounds simple at first. The best player isn't always the one who does everything, it's the one who fits the system perfectly. In modern football, where tactics evolve constantly and football culture becomes more complex every season, this idea matters more than ever. Managers spend hours thinking about the bigger picture of how a team moves, presses, and creates chances. And when you look at it through that lens, the Haaland versus Kane debate starts to feel less like a ranking and more like a strategic decision. Take a team like Manchester City, for example. Their entire structure is built around creating chances through positional play, patience, and control of the ball. In that environment, Haaland becomes almost the final piece of the puzzle. His role is brutally clear: occupy defenders, attack space, and finish moves with elite-level precision. He doesn't need to orchestrate the play because the system already does that. In many ways, his presence allows the rest of the team's tactical intelligence and game awareness to shine even more. Now, imagine a different scenario. A team that struggles to progress the ball, one that needs creativity and connection between midfield and attack. That's where someone like Harry Kane becomes incredibly valuable. His ability to drop deeper, read the rhythm of the game, and create for others reflects a striker who understands football evolution beyond just scoring goals. Coaches love players like that because they expand the possibilities of the system itself. And once you start thinking about strikers through this perspective, a new question naturally emerges. Maybe the real debate was never about who is better, but about what a team truly needs. By now, something should feel clear. The Haaland versus Kane debate was never really about proving who is better. Modern football is simply too complex for that kind of simple answer. What this comparison really reveals is something deeper about football evolution. Greatness can appear in completely different forms. One striker dominates through ruthless efficiency, the other through tactical intelligence and game awareness. And both of them, in their own way, represent what it means to perform at the elite level. When you look at Haaland, you see the power of specialization, a generational talent who turns the penalty box into his territory and builds his football legacy one decisive moment at a time. But when you watch Kane, you see something equally fascinating. A striker who reads the bigger picture of the match, who understands the rhythm of football culture, and who influences the game long before the final shot even happens. And maybe that's the most important lesson hidden in this comparison. Because the real question now moves away from them and comes back to you. If you were building a team in modern football, what would you actually value more? A striker who guarantees chaos for every defense in the world, or one who controls the flow of the entire attack with intelligence and awareness? Take a moment and think about it, because the answer says a lot about how you see the game itself. And now, I'm genuinely curious. If you had to choose today, who would lead your attack, Haaland or Kane? Let me know in the comments, because debates like this are what make football culture so fascinating. And if you enjoy diving deeper into the ideas behind modern football, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's a lot more about football evolution, generational talents, and the bigger picture of the game coming next.